Hello, this is a Christmas edition of Vaughan Stocks. In fact, it's a reprise of something I did a fortnight ago on my 80th birthday, and some people have asked me to do it again. I started doing these things in lockdown because my wife Polly said to me, you know when you sing and play the piano in the sitting room? I said, yeah. She said, why don't you put that out on social media? People will like it in the lockdown. I said, why? She says, well, they'll think it's funny. I said, well, I don't think it's funny. I'm doing the best I can. She said, well, I think you should do it. I said, well, what about people if laughing at me, or are they laughing with me? And she said, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because, you know, after all, they're enjoying themselves. And I thought about it. I thought, actually, you're probably right. So this one is about how I got to play the piano, and with it by ear. I can't, these pieces of paper here, they're not pieces of music. They are just words, you know, for songs and things, because those things I can't remember, but I can remember music when I hear it. I have sort of like a little earworm going away, and that's been helpful to me. And I also want to talk a little bit about how I went through my early life, right up to art school and leaving art school, and not spending too much time on that. So how did I start playing the piano? Well, one day when I was 7 years old and at a prep school in Newark-on-Trent, a piano suddenly turned up unannounced. But it was put in the dining room for some reason, I don't know why, but anyway, it was in the dining room. And I thought, I'm going to be taught to play the piano. But no, I wasn't going to be taught to play the piano, I was going to be taught to sing at the piano, because my mother had the idea that if I got into a cathedral choir school, I would have my fees paid and then might go on to some fancy public school like St Paul's or something like that, all paid by the Church of England. And she got the idea from the organist at Newark Parish Church who'd been to one of these, Lancing, I think. Anyway, this guy turned up when I was 7 and he played the piano and I had to sing at it. And eventually I was taken to St Paul's Cathedral, only 7 years old. Driven down there for examination and an audition. And so the first song I wanted to play was something that I played and sang at to the headmaster of the St Paul's Cathedral Choir School and the choir master. And here it goes. And the choir master said, "Are you ready now, Grills?" I had to stand next to him in my short trousers and next to the grand piano in this room. Headmaster sitting over in his desk over there, smoking, of course. "Are you ready, Grills?" I said, "Yes." "I'll play it through once and then you can join in." We're made to love and kiss, and who am I to interfere with this? Is it well? Who can tell? But I know the good Lord made it so. Very good, Grills. Choir master, would you just pop out for a second and see if you can find the Dean? I've seen him wandering around the corridors. He may like to listen to this. So the choir master scuttles out, and I'm standing by the piano still. He says, "Come over here." I sat in front of his desk, and he said, "How do you get here, Grills?" "Do you come to King's Cross?" "What?" "King's Cross Station." "No, you haven't heard of it?" "No." "You must have driven down. Did Mummy and Daddy drive you down?" "Mother and Father, yes, they drove me." "What did you see on the way?" "Well, when we came into London, there was a big arch, and Father pointed out the dome of St Paul's. It was standing up high." "Yes, everything else has been bombed around. We do stand out a rather lot. You must have been coming down the Archway Road." Oh, yes. Mr. Dean! Oh, I thought you should listen to Master Grills sing. I thought you might like it. The Dean comes in. He's a tall man. He's wearing a black cassock, white dog collar, white hair like mine. And he stands with his arms folded. And the headmaster says, "Come on, Grills, go and stand by the piano again. We're ready, Mr. Oh. The choir master. Second verse. We'll just go straight in. I sigh, for still might I sleep at night. Man cannot always be on the heights. And when our aching and breaking is down, flirting is jolly, it's folly but fun." Well, I got a place at St Paul's, but I was only there for 3 weeks because I started wetting the bed. I was terrified of the place. Imagine 8 years old when I went there on the north, landing in St Paul's in 1951. And I was transferred to a local choir school, Saddle Minster, beautiful cathedral, by the way. If you ever go there in Nottinghamshire, it's 11th century and it's got probably the most beautiful medieval carvings in the world are there in the chapter house. But anyway, coming back to what I was doing as a choir boy, I spent 3 years at Saddle Minster, is that I was taught to read music because I had to do that, you know, to sing the Nunc Dimittis and the Magnificat and all those sort of things. I was glad by Parry and that sort of stuff. And I did like it. I was quite good at it, really. But I failed my 11 plus, and so I had to move on to a secondary modern school. In fact, I've been to every sort of school you can think of, with the exception of possibly Borstal, I suppose. But my home life was entirely different in terms of music, because I realised I had to teach myself to play. And what my mother wanted me to play particularly, because she was the power behind the throne, so to speak, in our family, were dance tunes. I mean, she'd been a dancer in her early life, on the stage, a hoofer actually, in musicals. And for her, music was divided into 3 categories. There was the waltz. And they would dance around the sitting room for ages. And they said, "Play us another one, Vaughan. Come on, that's a lovely one." And my mother and my aunt would dance together. Who's going to take the lead? Shall I be the man this time? That's nice, Vaughan. That speed, that's nice. So the sorts of music were the waltz, and then there was the foxtrot. The very thought of you, the mere idea of you. You'll never know how slow the moments go until I'm near to you. I see your face in every flower, your eyes in stars above. It's just the thought of you, the very thought of you, my love. And then of course there was the quick step. Ain't she sweet? Slow it down a bit, Vaughan. That's nice. That's right, Vaughan. That's lovely. And occasionally there was a tango. Hernando's Hideaway, Olay. That was from a musical of the 1950s called The Pyjama Game, set in a pyjama factory in New York. Extraordinary idea, really, but very good music, actually. So those are the things I had to play at home for them, you know, and that was music. She wouldn't allow classical music in the house. She said, "That makes me miserable. I like some high jolly cock robin, I do. I don't want that miserable stuff." Although she was quite happy with the miserable stuff in the church, so to speak, in the cathedral. But that was a different matter, of course. Anyway, what did I do by the time I was 14 or 15? By this time, my brother and I had started collecting records, and so this wasn't the sort of music that we wanted to listen to. We wanted to do something like this. I woke up this morning, Lou still was not in sight. I asked my friends about it, but the lights were please don't leave me alone. Woke up this morning, Lou still was not inside. I asked the baby man, hey! I turned around, and Uncle Charles is standing there in his pyjamas and dressing gown. It's 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, making that racket. What do you think you're doing? Well, I was just playing some. It's not music, that isn't. Do you know what piano means? It's Italian. Uncle Charles has been to Italy. In fact, he's the first member of our family to go abroad, and he's been to San Remo. And in fact, he brought back records for my brother and myself. When you look at the piano, it means soft. So he can't play himself, by the way. He's a very nice man. He walks over and he says, "It's like stroking a cat, Vaughan. When you play a piano, it's like stroking a cat. It's soft, soft, soft." And I said, "Oh." It says Mornington and Western Pianoforte Company there. And what's the 40 for? Does that mean loud? Huh? Pianoforte? You can forget the 40. It's a piano. Everybody knows it's a piano. So don't make that noise. By the way, when I come back from church this afternoon, play those records that I gave you and see if you can play them. And I think you'll find that that's the sort of music people want to listen to. Oh, well, Uncle, so I'll do that. Penso ch'io ansiono così non ritorni mai più. Mi dici Genko con le mani alla faccia di blu. Terrible Italian. Poi improvviso venivo da vento rapido. Il cominciavo a volare nel cielo infinito. Volare, oh oh, cantare, oh 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 oh, nel blu dipinto di blu, di Figi di stare lassù, e volavo felici pugnato pel sole ancora passare. In me metropolone piani panano spavero and clon. A musica dolci suonave o soltanto per me. God, I can't hardly read this. Volare, oh oh, cantare, oh 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 oh, nel dipinto di that was the sort of music he liked, and everybody liked it really, but it wasn't my sort of music. It's a very pretty tune, of course, but it's funny really, because when I went to art school, of course I was exposed to an entirely different world. I went in 1963 to Nottingham College of Art. In fact, I went to 4 art schools, 6 secondary schools, 6 schools, private and state and everything you can think of, really, as I said before. But I went to art school, I started off at Nottingham, and that comes back to this earwig thing, this idea of a earworm. And when I make my artworks, I often have a tune going round and round in my head, and particularly with one that I did call the site of the assassination of President Kennedy in 1981. I went over to Dallas and I made a huge collage, 24 foot wide, and I took photographs with a telephoto lens, little telephoto photographs, and I joined them together and took the idea of that, taking the line of the bullets that were fired from the Texas School Book Depository to hit Kennedy and other people in the motorcade. And in fact, that was the first idea I had, whereby you actually thought about how to join a collage together and work it out beforehand in the way of what actually happened there. But what's this got to do with his next record, which is called Be My Baby by the Ronettes? Well, in 1963, as I said, when I was at art college, I was went down to a pub. I'd broken up with a girlfriend. I'd only been out with her for a short time, but she was far too posh for me. She became known as Moira Swan, a model, appearing on the front of Vogue and things like that, so you can see why I fancied her. But anyway, so I'd broken up, so I went to sort of drink my sorrows in November 1963, you know what I'm going to say, in a bar in Nottingham, in the lounge bar, not in the public bar, because that was for the common people. I went on my own, I was in my own, and it was between, while the model was having a rest, because we had life drawing all evening in that college. So I went in there, ordered a pint at the bar, and then I went and pressed the jukebox, put some money in, and chose this record, which I like very much, Be My Baby by the Ronettes, which came out in 1963. And as the music came on, a man rushed in from the public bar and said, President Kennedy has been shot and killed in Dallas, Texas. And I left the pint on the bar and I walked out. I remember it now, to Goldsmith Street, and I could hear the music still playing. The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. We'll make you so proud of me, I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make them turn their heads every place we go. So won't you please be my, be my, be my, be my. Say you'll be my darling. I'll make you happy, baby. Just you wait and see. For every kiss you give me, I'll give you 3. Oh, since the day I saw you, I have been waiting for you. You know I will adore you till eternity. So that stuck with me, and a lot of songs have stuck with me like that. Anyway, I went on to Wolverhampton College of Art after that for 3 years, did sculpture there, and then I thought I should get to London. I mean, by this time it was the middle of the swinging 60s. Why not? I mean, 1966, 67. So I applied to a place called Goldsmiths, and I heard my mother said to my father, "Where is Goldsmiths?" And he said, "I think it's down at the end of the, it's in London, it's down at the end of the Old Kent Road, New Cross Gate or something like that." And he said, "It's a very famous college." And my mother said, "Did you say the Old Kent Road?" He said, "Yeah. Isn't it a bit common down there?" And from that moment, I thought of this song. And by the way, I love old music hall songs. Mum says, "Have I got some news to tell? Rich Tom Lomax of Camberwell popped out Recently we changed us all, leaving you with little donkey shy. Watch ya, all the neighbours cried. Who you gonna meet, Bill? Goldsmiths down the street, Bill. Laugh, I thought I would have died. Knocked it in the New Cross Road. Well, I was called up for interview at Goldsmiths. I was amazed. But anyway, I got there and I was interviewed by 3 people. One of them was a famous art historian and psychologist called Anton Ernstweig, German. Austrian actually. He'd escaped Hitler just before the war, and he'd written books on art and things like that, intellectual stuff. And I thought, oh. And I was asked by one of the other lecturers, what about my work and these pan sculptures and things you're making and that sort of thing. And it was about 3 minutes, and I saw that Dr. Ernstweig had fallen asleep, which is a bit embarrassing. So I didn't know what to do about this. So I said, I make these works with the words and the title. I start with the title, that most artists don't, and then the other way around, and then I make the work to the title. And one of the lecturers said, well, he said, you can't see the title here. I said, yeah, but the title is intrinsic to the work. He said, where do you get that idea from? I said, well, I don't know. And for some reason, I said something out of the blue. I said, well, it's the idea of, Ludwig Wittgenstein and linguistic philosophy, that the words and objects are sort of interrelated in some way. And I didn't know anything about Wittgenstein other than he had his deck chairs in his house. And suddenly, Ernstweig worked up and he said, Wittgenstein, did you say? Wittgenstein? Oh, yes. So the work physically is there, but the title is not there. And yet the title of it interpenetrates the work, and the work interpenetrates the title. And so the work adds up to more than the sum total of the parts, even though we cannot see part of it. And I said, yes, that's right. Very interesting. So if you come here, what are you going to be? Sound like Werner Herzog talking. What are you going to do here? I said, well, linguistic philosophy tries to, find out about language and how it affects thought and philosophy by using words, and that seems like a nonsense. Yes. So I'm going to explore it by making sculptures. I got in. Watch ya, all the neighbours cried. Who you gonna beat, Bill? Goldsmiths down the street, Bill. Laugh, I thought I should have died. I pointed it in the New Cross Road. Well, that's that one. So I was at Goldsmiths, and then one day, about I'd been there a month or something like that, my tutor spoke to me and he said, have you thought of applying to the Royal College of Art or the Slade? And I thought, huh? I said, well, I thought they're far too important portals for someone like me to pass through. Never get into either of them. And so I asked a friend on the course, called Peter Muscombe. I said, what's the difference between the two? He said, Royal College of Art is for the whiz kids. Oh, is it? What's the Slade for? He said, that's for the nutcases, nutters, eccentrics. So I went away and I made a special box to put my work in. About a big thing. It would just go about in the back of I had a little Volkswagen Beetle, and it just fit into the back of that. To put all my drawings in and sketches of all this rubbish that I made. Shoved it in that. And I sent it off to the Slade. And anyway, after about 3 weeks, I got a letter sent to the school office at Goldsmiths to say, inviting me for interview. I couldn't believe it. And it was the time of that, late 1967, of the Sergeant Pepper LP had come out, which was a big hit, and of course the biggest hit in it. It was A Day in the Life, and so I always think of this song when at that time. Woke up, got out of bed, dragged my comb across my head. Found my way downstairs, I noticed I was late. Found my coat, looking up, I noticed I was late. Found my coat, grabbed my hat, made my car in seconds flat. And I found and somebody spoke, and I went in a dream and through the Anyway, I went up to my Slade, I drove up in my little Beetle with my portfolio crammed in the back, and I was interviewed by two famous sculptors, Reg Butler and Philip King, and it's quite unlike any other interview I'd been. In fact, what it was like the one at St Paul's. It was posh and polite and sort of laid back, you know, people saying things like, yes, jolly good, splendid, and did you do this? Oh yes, quite droll. Yes. Where are you living? Oh, really? And where are you now? I'm at Goldsmiths. Yes, I know, I didn't mean that. I mean, what work are you making now? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm making, oh, really? Anyway, at the end of the interview, Reg Butler, I was packing my things away, Reggie Butler said, well, we found your portfolio very impressive. I said, oh, really? Which work did you like best? No, I don't mean the work. I'm talking about that box you made. Looks as though it's built to last a lifetime. I just dragged the old box back into the car and I thought, there's no way I'm going to get in here. I drove out onto Gower Street. I blew my mind out in a car. I didn't notice that the lights had changed. A crowd of people stood and stared. They'd seen my face before. Nobody's really sure if I was from the House of Lords. I'd love to tell you. 3 or 4 days passed and I thought there's no way anything's going to happen here, because I then heard that there had been 300 applicants for 6 spaces in sculpture at the Slade. I thought, waste of time. And then one day I was in the school office at Goldsmiths and the secretary said, there's a letter for you there, Vaughan. So I walked over and it said on the outside, Slade School of Fine Art, University College London. I was too frightened to open it. I shoved it in my pocket and about midday I locked myself in a cubicle in a lavatory at the college and I opened it gingerly looking in. I read the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the Slade. And though the news was rather sad, well, I just had to laugh. I saw the photograph I'd love to tell. So that's the story of my piano playing in early career. And anyway, it's good to see you again at this Christmas tide, and I think we should finish with this. I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We all like a figgy pudding, we all like a figgy pudding, we all like a figgy pudding, and bring it right here. Good tidings we bring to you and your king. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for listening to Vaughan Socks. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.